Hello. Yeah. Just hope is it audible to everybody. Just wait for few seconds. Let me see the setting whether everything is fine or not. Yeah, it's working. So good morning, everybody, and I, Dr. Manjesh Kumar, am again here to discuss with you Indian Constitution and Polity. So in yesterday's class, we had a general overview of this polity constitution topic. From today onwards, we will systematically start the syllabus. But before that, I can see many. So, Laksar, Monty, Himanshu, Amresh, Akram, AKC, Neha, Manish, Lishi Sahu. So, welcome all of you. And there are many comments. Might not be possible for me to see and respond every comment. So, let us properly start with the class. From today, we will start Union Executive topic. Union Executive. So, Union Executive itself is a very lengthy topic and one of the most important topics for UPSC, for State Public Service Commission exams, and for prelims, mains, interview. Everywhere it is important. Now, this Union Executive is found in part 5 of Indian Constitution. Union Executive किस part में है? Part 5 में. Yes, it is live. So, I am saying that I may not be able to see all the comments. शायद मैं सारा ना देख पाऊँ. So, please don't go on that. Let us see. So, Union Executive is found in part 5. Now, in part 5, Union Executive, our constitution refers to the president. So, let us see what topics are included in part 5. That means what topics form the core of this Union Executive. So, first of all, it is the president, then the vice president, then thirdly, the prime minister, then fourthly, the council of ministers, the council of ministers, and finally, the attorney general of India. The attorney general of India, and these topics are included under Union Executive. So, Union Executive includes the president, the vice president, the prime minister, the council of ministers, the attorney general of इंडिया, ये 5 को मिलकर बनता है यूनियन एग्जीक्यूटिव. फ्रॉम टुडे ऑनवर्ड्स वी विल स्टार्ट this topic, the president, which itself is very interesting, very important as well. So president, we will see first of all the general basic terms, basic facts. Qualifications to become president, term of office, oath, etc. Then we will come to each and every issue related to the president. For example, the election of president, which is very important, and there we will see the whole single transferable vote system, how the president is elected. Then secondly, we will go by the removal process of the president, which is called impeachment. So how the president is impeached. Now presently, if you see in the parliament, the resolution for removal of a high court judge has been brought. And most of the TV channels, most of the newspapers are writing that the impeachment of Justice Verma is going on. But it is very interesting to know that the word impeachment has been used only in 2 articles of the Constitution, Indian Constitution. And that is Article 56 and Article 61. And these two, both of these articles belong to the President of India. So only President is impeached. Judges are removed. But anyway, we will see the difference between the impeachment of a judge and removal of a judge and impeachment of president. So removal or impeachment. Then we will discuss each of the powers of the president, like the executive power, like the legislative power. Within that, we will see the ordinance making power, veto power, pocket veto, all such concepts. Emergency powers of the president, national emergency, president rule, financial emergency, pardoning power or clemency power of the president, discretionary powers. So we will go by all those powers also. When we will be discussing president, so you will find that everywhere, generally it appears that the president shall act on the advice of the Council of Ministers. Then if the president generally acts on the advice of the Council of Ministers, he only puts his signature. Then why do we need a president? Why don't we ask the Prime Minister to sign? That means, what is the rationale? What is the relevance? And what is the role played by the president? All these issues we shall be discussing. But before that, let us take some basic factual things, basic facts related to the office of president. But before that, just give me 10 seconds. UPSC wala batch. Of course, you see, this is English medium batch and this is live. So Hindi medium batch, it was from 10. This is English medium batch. Again, I am saying. So let us begin with the basic facts related to president, and I know that most of you are aware of these terms. आपको पता है पहले से, but still, as I have promised, that we will begin with the zero, and we will go at the top also. So many of the students may not be from political science background. They may be from engineering background or medical background or commerce background or mathematics. And therefore, I have to take certain basics also. So this is just for revision for those who have gone through it. The office of president is found in Article 52. So there are many articles related to the president, but if a particular question comes, which article refers to the office of the president or where the office of the president is found? So this is Article 52. Why? Because Article 52. Now, direct president, you see, from anywhere we can, I have targeted in this batch that first we will cover the government, system of government. That means legislature, executive, judiciary. Then we will come by philosophy part. Then we will come by miscellaneous, and anything is not left. For that, when the class ends, we will see the syllabus also. So syllabus will be here, and I will verify from you that whether everything is covered or not. But I have started from here only so that we can link our lecture, our classes from current also. And currently many debates are going on. For example, vice president, his removal or his resignation, removal of a judges. So therefore, I thought that this is the right moment to begin with this government part. So that will not make any trouble for you, rest assured. Just try to find it, try to attend the class. So doesn't matter whether I start from preamble or from president, everything must be in your mind. That is the thing. So that will come later. Now, Article 52 refers to the office of the president. So first of all, which article refers to the office? It is Article 52. A president is called the first citizen. First citizen. There is nowhere, this is nowhere written in the constitution, but still we call first citizen. First citizen means in the protocol. Protocol means order of respect. President is number one. Though we will see that in terms of power, he nowhere stands in front of the prime minister. But as far as the respect or protocol is concerned, he is number one. And on that basis, it is said that he is the first citizen of India, or president is the first citizen of India. Just president is the first citizen of India. Then he is the constitutional head. So these are the terms which are used. That means he is not the real head, and he is the nominal executive. So these are very basic things, but don't get bored. Just give me 5-10 minutes, so that this is only for beginners. जो beginner है उनके लिए he is nominal executive. So these are certain terms used for the president. He is not the real head, he is the constitutional head. He is not the real executive, he is only the nominal executive. Now let us come to certain facts. First of all, qualifications to become the president of India. That means who can become the president of India, or the qualifications to become the president of India. So first qualification is he must be a citizen of India. That means a non-citizen, a foreigner cannot hold the office of president. Now from here you find sometimes questions in the civil services prelims, and if you see the last 5 years, so recently also a question was asked. What is the qualification? The president must be a citizen of India. Now, citizens are of two types. This we will discuss in citizenship topic. Citizens are of two types. One is the natural born citizen. So first type of citizen is natural born citizen, and second is naturalized citizen. Naturalized citizens. So natural born citizens are those who are by birth citizen of a state. For example, most of us are natural born citizens, because before acquiring Indian citizenship, we were not the citizen of any other state. So we are born as Indian citizens. And naturalized citizens are those who are citizens of some other state, but later on, so by birth they are a citizen of some other state, but later on they acquire Indian citizenship. So, to make it more clear, Modi ji will fall in this natural born. By birth, he is the citizen. But Sonia Gandhi ji is a naturalized citizen. He is not citizen by birth. Now, if you see American Constitution, so in America, the Constitution mentions that a natural born citizen can only become the President of America. Even a naturalized citizen cannot be. But our Constitution is more liberal here. And our Constitution does not discriminate between a natural born citizen and a naturalized citizen, and therefore any citizen, either natural born or naturalized, is eligible, is qualified to become the President of India. So only it is citizen and nowhere else is mentioned. So first qualification is he must be a citizen of India. Then second, as you all know, that must be minimum 35 years of age, minimum, and there is no upper age limit. Then thirdly, must not be holding any office of profit. He or she must not be holding any office of profit. Now, what is this office of profit? The term office of profit has not been defined, in the Constitution. Office of profit has not been defined, but generally it means, generally the term office of profit means any office which is a government office and which is under the state. State means central government, state government or local bodies, and where a person gets a salary or any economic incentive. So all government offices are office of profit. A person who is holding an office of profit is not eligible to become the President of India. That means, for example, a government servant wants to contest the election of president. So first of all, he has to resign because he is holding an office of profit. But again here, there are 4 exceptions, and this is important for prelims. There are 4 exceptions, and in 4 conditions, people are getting some benefit, salary, etc. from government, but they are eligible. So what are those 4 exceptions? First is the president itself. That means if the president himself wants to contest again the election of president, so he is eligible, need not resign. Similarly, the vice president. So if the vice president wants to contest the election of president, no need to resign. Similarly, the governor. If the governor of a state wants to contest the election of president, no need to resign from the office of governor, because these are exceptions. And finally, union and state ministers. If a person is a minister under the union government or under the state government, and he wants to contest the election of the president, then need not resign. These are the 4 exceptions. Besides this, all those persons who are holding office of profit have to resign before contesting the election of the president. Now question comes, what about MP and the members of state legislatures, like member of Lok Sabha, member of Rajya Sabha, member of Vidhan Sabha and member of Vidhan Parishad? Now for these 4, our constitution says that if an MP or a member of state legislature contests and wins the election of president, then the day he enters into the office of the president, his seat in his house shall deem to be vacant. That means these persons, they can contest the election of president while holding their own office. But once they are elected as the president, then either they have to resign, and if they do not resign, then the day they take oath, their membership in the house shall deem to be vacant. So that is third qualification, that he should not be holding office of profit. Then fourth qualification is he must be qualified to become a member of Lok Sabha. So he should actually not be a member of Lok Sabha, but he must possess those qualifications which are essential to become a member of Lok Sabha. Now, what are those qualifications? That we will see when we come to the topic Parliament. But for example, he must not be of unsound mind. He must not be convicted by a court of law for 2 years or more. He must not be undeclared insolvent. So those qualifications which are required to become a member of Lok Sabha, here also a candidate is expected to possess. So these are the qualifications which are required to become president. Then comes term, and term here is 5 years. Term of the office of the president is 5 years, but our constitution says that he can be re-elected. How many times? As many as he wants. So there is no limitation on the number of re-election. Now here our constitution is different from the constitution of America, because in America a person cannot be the president more than 2 times. So 2 terms are the maximum, but in India there is no limitation, so he can be re-elected. These are certain basic facts. Then we will come to the analytical part of this topic. Term is 5 years. Then oath. Who administers oath to the president? So of course it is Chief Justice of India. Then salary, it has not been mentioned in the constitution. Constitution says, Article 59 says that the emoluments and allowance etc. shall be decided by the Parliament. So presently the salary is 5 lakhs rupees per month. Besides this, he is eligible to use free residence, that is called Rashtrapati, and many other facilities he has. So these are certain basic things related to the president. Now come to one by one the issues, and here the analytical part begins. So first of all, the election of president. How the president is elected. President is elected by a body called Electoral College. President is elected by a body called the Electoral College. That means we have indirect election. Why indirect election? Because people do not vote, some other vote who are called Electoral College. Now, what is the composition of this Electoral College? So, this is mentioned in Article 54. Who constitute the Electoral College? Again, this is a very important point. And if you see the last 20 years, previous year questions of UPSC and other state public service commissions, so at least 10 times you will find questions from here. and questions are very much technical in nature. Questions are very much technical in nature, and sometimes it happens that a very small mistake may lead to wrong answer. So let us see very carefully who constitute the electoral college according to Article 54. So first of all, elected members of parliament. Elected members of parliament. Elected members of parliament. Now parliament means both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, and not all members but elected. Now if you see presently means from 26th January 2020 onwards, there is no provision for nominated member in the Lok Sabha, because 104th amendment did away the provision for nomination of 2 Anglo-Indians in the Lok Sabha. So presently all the 543 members are elected. But as far as Rajya Sabha is concerned, there are 12 nominated members. So those 12 nominated members do not vote in the election of the president. So first, only elected members, and elected members of Lok Sabha and elected members of Rajya Sabha, they cast their vote, they form the electoral college. Then who else? Elected members of State Legislative Assembly. Now here again we have to see the words carefully. It is not state legislature. It is State Legislative Assembly only. That means members of State Legislative Council, they do not vote in the election of president. Only the members of State Legislative Assembly cast their vote. And here also only elected members. So there was the provision for one nominated Anglo-Indian in State Legislative Assembly under Article 333. But that is also now done away by 104th Constitution Amendment Act. So presently what is the situation? That members of State Legislative Assembly but elected members. So that is the second thing. Then third, elected members of the State Legislative Assembly of Delhi, Puducherry and J&K. They also constitute the electoral college of president. Now Delhi, Puducherry and J&K, these three are union territories, but they have been given a special status than other union territories, and that is these three union territories have legislative assembly. And since they have legislative assembly, therefore the elected members of these legislative assemblies also constitute the electoral college for election of president. So in this way, this is the technical aspect. But if we are to conceptualize it in our minds, so we may say that MPs and MLAs, not legislative council but MPs and MLAs, and elected MPs and MLAs, they constitute the electoral college. Elected members of Lok Sabha, elected members of Rajya Sabha and elected members of 31, that means 28 states and 3 union territories. 31 state legislative assemblies or legislative assemblies, 31 legislative assemblies, and they form the electoral college. So here first of all we saw that the members of electoral college cast their vote in the election of president. Just a minute. Let me see if there are some comments or doubts. Just a minute. So there are many live comments you see, and sorry for not addressing to them. You see, this is English medium batch and Hindi medium batch goes from 8 to 10, and of course same thing will be taught both the batches. Okay, so anyway, here it is English medium, and I may not be able to see all the comments, but let it go. So here we saw that the president is elected by members of electoral college, and this is electoral college. We will come to the single transferable vote system also, and believe me, we will understand it in such a crystal clear, with such a clarity that you will be able to conduct the election if it is required sometimes in future. Members of electoral college elect the president. Now write few lines. Write few lines. Every member of electoral college, write down, every member of electoral college casts one vote. Casts one vote. Every member of electoral college casts one vote. But the value of vote differs. But the value of vote differs. Every member of electoral college casts one vote, but the value of votes differ. Now let us see why the value of vote differs. What does it mean? And how then we calculate the value of vote of a member of electoral college. So first of all, why? First of all, what is this? What does it mean? So if you compare it with the election of Lok Sabha or Legislative Assembly, then common people are voted, and there we do not have any concept of value of vote. So all of us during Lok Sabha or state assembly elections cast vote in a similar way, and there is no value. So all are treated equally. But in the presidential election, each member of electoral college though casts one vote, but the value of vote differs. So just take one example. It means each member of electoral college may be a member of Lok Sabha, may be a member of Rajya Sabha, or maybe a member of state legislative assembly. So he will cast one vote, but value will differ. That means I am also having a note, you are also having. So the number of note is one, but an MP might be having a note of 500 rupees. So value is 500. An MLA of Uttar Pradesh might be having, would be having one note, but value may be 200 rupees. And an MLA of Sikkim shall also have one note, that is one vote, but the value may be rupees 10. So this is what does it mean that the value differs. Now why? If you see Lok Sabha or Vidhan Sabha elections, so common people are voters, and we do not represent anybody else, we represent only ourselves, and therefore there is no value because all of us are equal. But as far as the electoral college for the president is concerned, a Lok Sabha member is also a voter, member of electoral college, and MLA is also a voter, but an MP represents a larger population because Lok Sabha constituency is very large. In comparison to that, an MLA represents lesser population, and since they represent different number of people or population, therefore in a democracy their the value of their votes must be different, and that is the reason why the value of vote is different. Now there must be a proportion, that is proportional in terms of our constitution. So there must be a proportion between the number of people a person is representing and the value of his vote. So this is why there is value. Then third question, how this value is decided? How you will decide that the value of which vote is how much? So actually the formula is mentioned in the constitution itself. So let us see how the value of vote is decided. According to our constitution, the value, write down the value of vote of an MLA. MLA means State Legislative Assembly is equal to total population of state divided by total number of state legislative assembly seats, and further it is divided by 1000. And by this formula we calculate the value of vote of an MLA. What is the formula? First of all, total population of a state, then it shall be divided by total number of state legislative assembly seats of that state, and the further it shall be divided by 1000. So just take a common example. I cannot take the exact example because it will come in crores and hundreds, and the calculation of mathematics will be very difficult. I am very weak in mathematics. So just take one example, hypothetical example. For example, there is a state where population is 1 lakh. Of course, practically there is no such a state, but only for the sake of understanding, if there is a state having 1 lakh population, not voter, total population. So total population is 1 lakh, and for example, the number of seats, state legislative assembly seats allotted to that state is 20. So again, there is no such state, but just hypothetically, so this is divided by 20, and further it shall be divided by 1000. Now let us do the calculation. So here it is this, and then again these 30, so 5, which means the value of vote of MLA of this particular state will be 5. And if you have a fact and figure, then of course you can calculate. For example, UP, so what is the population of UP? Then 403, that is the number of seats, and divided by 1000. Now why this 1000? This is only for mathematical convenience, to make the computation easier, because this number is in crores, this is few hundred, so result will be in lakhs, and the value of vote of one MLA shall be in lakhs. Then the number of MLA all over India, mathematics will be very difficult, and therefore 30 are removed. That is the only purpose. There is no other purpose. So in this way, the value of vote of an MLA is computed or calculated. Now let us see, if you see the previous year's questions, even IAS questions, civil services, and last 5 years twice or thrice you have question on this, and sometimes questions are very technical based on now there are some comments. I will address your comment at the last, don't worry. Yeah. So sometimes there are conceptual questions also. जो भी queries आ रहे हैं उसको मैं देख लेता हूँ बीच बीच में. At the last मैं ये करूँगा. So अभी I don't know, it is going on YouTube, so maybe only today. So why are you worried whether it is going on YouTube or app? Only thing. Now why I have started from a precedent? Of course, yesterday if you remember, I classified the constitution in three parts: philosophy of the constitution, government part, and miscellaneous. So either we can start from the philosophy or we can start from the government part. So this time, sometimes I start from philosophy, but this time I have started from the government part because some very important developments are going on in Indian polity, like the issue of vice president, like removal of a high court judge. And therefore, I chose that I should start from this executive, legislature, judiciary, and then I will come to preamble, fundamental right. Yeah. This I can assure that you won't have any difficulty in understanding the topic. Then why to bother? And what will be the benefit of this exercise? The Justice Verma, वो वाला आपको सीधा समझ आएगा. उससे correlate करोगे. धनखड़ का issue correlate करोगे. Many other important things you will be able to correlate. So that is the reason why I have started the batch from here. Otherwise, there is no problem at all. And if I, for example, start from preamble, so till I reach to judiciary or till I reach to vice president, ये then session खत्म हो जाएगा, election हो जाएगा. So that is the reason. Only thing is that what we read earlier, what we read later doesn't matter. Only thing is what? That we should understand it properly. And the each and every topic of the syllabus should be completed. So that of course will be done. And in the last class, syllabus यहाँ पे होगा. And I will ask you that whether एक topic को हम लोग टिक करेंगे. So don't worry for that. Now, there are some conceptual questions also. क्या क्या conceptual question है? So just reasoning assertion questions. If I say on the basis of this, the value of vote of two MLAs, A and B, for example, of the same state, for example, UP, will be same or different? So it shall always be same. So value of vote of all the MLAs of a particular state shall be same. So value of vote of all Haryana MLAs shall be same. And value of vote of all UP MLAs shall be same. Why? Because population of the whole state is same number. But at the same time, if a question comes, value of votes of MLAs of different states. So if A is the MLA of Haryana and P is the MLA of UP, so that will be different. Why? Because the population of UP is different, Haryana is different. Number of seats is different, and therefore the outcome will be different. So first thing we saw that what is the value of vote of an MLA and how it is calculated. So through this process, we calculate the value of vote of MLAs of 28 states plus 3 UTs also. So these 31 legislative assemblies years to ho gaya. Now what is left? This. So let us see how the value of vote of an MP is calculated. So again there is a formula. What is that formula? Write down. Value of vote of an MP and write down the formula is equal to total value of votes of all MLAs of all states, and in bracket you can write 28 plus 3 for the sake of fact. Total value of votes of all MLAs of all states, and here states include those 3 UT also. So in terms of the election of the president, Delhi, Puducherry and J&K, they are also considered to be states, and they have similar powers like the state with respect to this value, total value of votes of all MLAs of all states divided by total number of elected MPs. And elected MPs means both Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. Well, both are MP. Total number of elected MPs. Again, I don't know people why join this batch. This is English medium batch. I am third time, fourth time, 10th time I am telling you that if you are a Hindi medium student, then you come at 8 AM. अगर आप हिंदी में हैं तो मेरी बात ध्यान से सुने, आप 8 बजे पहुंचे, 8 बजे आए, क्योंकि 8 से 10 होती है। ये इंग्लिश की बैच है। अब इंग्लिश के बैच में मैं हिंदी नहीं पढ़ा सकता। Hope you get it. So I cannot teach in Hindi in English medium batch. If you want to study in Hindi, then come to Hindi medium batch. Why don't you come in Hindi medium? You come to English medium, then you request me time that teach in Hindi, teach in Hindi. How can I teach in Hindi? अगर हिंदी की बैच जब ऑलरेडी चल रही है तो आप उसमें हिंदी पढ़ो। आप कहोगे कि हमें पढ़ना अंग्रेजी में, आप पढ़ाओ हिंदी, तो व्हाट द इंग्लिश पीपल विल डू? दे विल गेट डिस्टर्ब। तो दोनों की टाइमिंग फिक्स है। मैं बहुत प्यार से कह रहा हूं भाई कि हिंदी की बैच की टाइम 8 बजे, 8 से 10। तो आपको हिंदी मीडियम में पढ़ना है तो आप कितने बजे ज्वाइन करो? 8 बजे। इंग्लिश की बैच है 10:30 to 12। तो अगर आपको इंग्लिश में पढ़ना है तो आप 10:30 पे आओ, बट आप 10:30 पे इंग्लिश मीडियम के बैच में आकर हिंदी की डिमांड नहीं कर सकते। दैट इज अनएथिकल, दैट इज इलॉजिकल। वो पूरी तरह अतार्किक है, पूरी तरह अव्यवहारिक है, वो संभव नहीं है, वो संभव नहीं है। तो इसको समझो। मैं कितनी बार कहूं, total value of votes of all MLAs of all states divided by total number of elected MPs. Let us see what shall be the number. तो अगर नीचे की बात करें कि यहां पे क्या होगा, तो टोटल नंबर ऑफ इलेक्टेड एमपीज इन लोकसभा वी हैव 543 इलेक्टेड, नॉमिनेटेड नहीं, याद करो इलेक्टेड कॉलेज में नॉमिनेटेड नहीं, एंड प्लस 233। तो नीचे का नंबर तो क्लियर है, इट शैल बी 776। टोटल नंबर ऑफ इलेक्टेड एमपीज ऑफ लोकसभा 543 एंड टोटल नंबर ऑफ इलेक्टेड एमपीज ऑफ राज्यसभा 233, दोनों को जोड़ देंगे 776 आता है। नाउ व्हाट शैल बी एट द टॉप, यहां पे क्या होगा? टोटल वैल्यू ऑफ वोट्स ऑफ ऑल एमपीज ऑफ ऑल स्टेट्स। सो लेट अस try to understand this. For example, take example of any state like UP, Uttar Pradesh. So for example, in UP, if we go by this equation, this equation. So through this equation, through this formula, we can find out the value of vote of an MLA. So for example, UP का population, then number of state legislative, whatever number comes, that is the value of vote of one MLA of UP. And if there are 403 MLAs in UP, so total value of votes of UP state will be 403. Value of one MLA of UP is 10. For example, it was more than 400. But I am just taking hypothetical example. The value of vote of one UP MLA is 10 and total number of MLAs in UP is 403. So what shall be the total value of vote of UP? So it will be 4030. By similar formula, we will go by, for example, Rajasthan. So Rajasthan, for example, 7. For example, I say the value of vote of one MLA is 7 and total कितने MLA है राजस्थान में? 200. दैट मीन्स राजस्थान स्टेट का वैल्यू कितना हुआ 1400। सिमिलरली मध्य प्रदेश, जो भी वोट हो फॉर एग्जांपल 5 और जो भी सीट हो दिस, तो थ्रू दिस वी विल डू बाय 28 स्टेट्स, गुजरात, तमिलनाडु सारे, एंड देन 3 UTs, दिल्ली, पुदुचेरी एंड J&K, सो दिस 31, और उसका जो टोटल आएगा ये वाला, दैट इज हियर. So first we will calculate the value of vote of one state. वो कैसे calculate करेंगे? तो we will first find out what is the value of vote of one MLA of that state. And then what is the total seats allotted to that state? जैसे यूपी में एक MLA का 10 है वोट फॉर एग्जाम्पल, एंड टोटल यूपी की सीट्स है 403 MLA की. तो what is the value of state of UP? 4030. Similarly, state of Rajasthan, this, then MP, XYZ, then 28 states, then Delhi, Puducherry and J&K, और सबका जो टोटल होगा that shall be here. Total value of votes of all MLAs of all states, and that shall be divided by presently 776. In this way, we will find out the value of vote of an MP. Now again, if you see the previous year questions, do go by the PYQ. PYQ is the key to get success in these exams. For prelims also, PYQ is BBI. And for mains also, previous year's questions, and if you are solving then, or if you are able to solve, then only you can expect to get in. From this topic, if you see the previous year questions, again there has been reasoning assertion based question. क्या आएगा? For example, again I say 2 statements. The value of votes of members of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha are same or different. Value of a member of Lok Sabha and value of vote of a member of Rajya Sabha shall be same or different? It shall be same. Why? Because here value of vote of an MP. So it is not demarcated which MP. तो लोकसभा और राज्यसभा उनका वैल्यू सेम होगा. बट इफ ए क्वेश्चन कम्स, वैल्यू ऑफ वोट ऑफ एन एमपी एंड एन एमएलए, स्टेट वाला जो एमएलए, is same or different? So it is different. Why? Because the formula for MP is different and formula for MLA is different. So in this way we saw that each member of electoral college, be an MP or be an MLA, has the right to cast one vote only, but the value of vote differs. What is the reason? Because they represent different number of population. An MP represents larger population, therefore the value of vote is more than the MLA. Similarly, an MLA of Uttar Pradesh generally represents a larger population than an MLA of Sikkim, and therefore the value of vote of an MLA of Sikkim is less and value of vote of an MLA of UP is more. This is called proportionality in our presidential election. So here we saw, till here we saw MCQ भी होगा, but first let us complete the lecture. एक बार हम लोग पूरा कोर्स कर लेंगे, then I have very long plans. May God give me strength to complete that. I have planned to discuss 25 years PYQ on YouTube. 25 साल का PYQ हम लोग डिस्कस करेंगे with most authentic solution, but not now. एक बार पहले ये बैच हो जाए, so most probably December or January, and every day continuous, so that within a month we will be completing, and that will help you a lot in the coming prelims. So be ready for that. साथ साथ questions चलेंगे. तो till here we saw that members of electoral college cast one vote, but the value of vote differs. Then Few more things we need to understand, then we will be able to understand the single transferable vote system. Few more things. So what are those? So write down. A candidate, write down, a candidate has to secure an electoral quota. Write down, a candidate has to secure an electoral quota, has to secure an electoral quota to win the election, has to secure an electoral quota to win the election. Now, our constitution also mentions the formula for electoral quota. I will explain with examples, but first write. What is the formula? So write, electoral quota is equal to total value of valid votes, total value of valid votes divided by 2 plus 1. Total value of valid votes divided by 2 plus 1. Total value of valid votes divided by 2 plus 1. So, for example, total value, and here it is value, not the number, total value. In the election of president, number is not important. Remember, each member of electoral college has one vote, but value differs. So, one note is common, but whether it is a 500 rupee note or 200 rupee note or 100 rupee note or 10 rupee note, that is more important. So, here value is important. Total value of valid votes divided by 2. So, this is 50% in terms of maths, divided by 2, and plus 1, that means at least one vote more than 50%. And if a candidate secures this electoral quota, then only he can win the election. Now again, this is unique to the election of president, vice president, only those. In Lok Sabha election or Vidhan Sabha election, we do not have the provision of this electoral quota, there is no provision. So what happens in Lok Sabha elections? If there are 5 candidates A, B, C, D, E, and D gets 35% votes and others get less than 35, then D is declared elected. So there is no electoral quota. Electoral quota means cutoff, that you have to reach this. In presidential election, it is 50%. Therefore, that is different, this is different. That is single first past the post system, and this is single transferable vote system. Now here you have electoral quota, but again a question comes. For example, if there are 5 candidates A, B, C, D, E, and vote secured is like this. For example, if they secure, this is the percentage of vote they secured, then nobody secured electoral quota, because electoral quota is 50% plus 1. Then what shall happen? Now this is the beauty of single transferable vote system, that we have to understand that in this system somebody will be able to secure the electoral quota. Now how that happens, that is a matter that needs to be understood, but actually somebody will achieve, will secure. So let us see how will secure. For that we have to go into the depth of single transferable vote, but yes, somebody will secure. So this is called electoral quota. That means to win the election of president, every candidate has to secure an electoral quota, and that means if a candidate secures 50% plus 1 value, then only he is elected. Then now we are at the verge of understanding that procedure, which is called single transferable vote. But to understand that, these backgrounds are essential. Therefore, I am explaining, because without understanding this, you cannot understand this. So let us see what happens now. But before that, let me explain what we discussed till here. So till here we saw that president is elected by an electoral college. जो राष्ट्रपति हैं वो एक इलेक्टोरल कॉलेज के द्वारा चुने जाते हैं. अब आता है कि हु कॉन्स्टिट्यूट दैट इलेक्टोरल कॉलेज, उसमें कौन कौन शामिल होगा. सो इलेक्टोरल कॉलेज में होंगे इलेक्टेड मेंबर्स ऑफ लोकसभा एंड राज्यसभा. देन और कौन होंगे, इलेक्टेड मेंबर्स ऑफ स्टेट लेजिस्लेटिव असेंबली, जो 28 स्टेट्स हैं उनके विधानसभा. और कौन होंगे, तो इलेक्टेड मेंबर्स ऑफ द लेजिस्लेटिव असेंबलीज ऑफ दिल्ली, पुदुचेरी, जे&के, क्योंकि इन्हीं में लेजिस्लेटिव असेंबली. तो एक तरह से 31 विधानसभा, लेजिस्लेटिव असेंबली प्लस लोकसभा प्लस राज्यसभा, इनके इलेक्टेड मेंबर्स वोट डाले. व्हाट एल्स वी डिस्कस्ड, we saw that each of these have one right to cast one vote, but the value of vote differs. And what is the formula, that also we saw. Then one more thing we saw, and what is that one thing, that a candidate shall be declared elected only when he secures electoral quota, only when he gets a cutoff. And what is that electoral quota, 50% plus at least one, that means more than 50% of the total value of votes. Now if we are able to understand this, then the single transferable vote system becomes easier for us to understand. अगर यहां तक आपने समझ लिया तो सिंगल ट्रांसफरेबल वोट आपके लिए बहुत आसान हो जाता है. नाउ अगेन देखो हिंदी में. सो आई डोंट नो व्हाई पीपल डू नॉट अंडरस्टैंड. मैं कितनी बार कहूं कि हिंदी का बैच होता है 8 बजे सुबह में, तो दैट इज हिंदी मीडियम बैच. वहां मैं पूरा हिंदी ही बोलता हूं. हिंदी तो मातृभाषा है, हिंदी में तो बोलना ही चाहिए, मेरी मातृभाषा है, मुझे भी बहुत मजा आता है, हिंदी में धुआंधार बोलता हूं. बट दिस इज अगेन विथ मोस्ट हम्बली I would beg to say कि this is English medium batch. So here how can I explain in Hindi? तो बीच बीच में बोल लेना एक अलग बात है, बट अगर आप रिक्वेस्ट करोगे कि नहीं आप हिंदी में पढ़ाओ, so in English medium how can I teach in Hindi? And if I teach in Hindi in English medium batch, then how it is an English medium batch? And then what about those students who have joined English medium batch, फिर उनका क्या होगा, वो कहेंगे एकदम हमें तो हिंदी में कर रहे हो. तो ये इंग्लिश मीडियम बैच है, इसमें इंग्लिश में होगा. हाँ, क्योंकि वी नो दैट देयर आर स्टूडेंट्स हु कैन नॉट अंडरस्टैंड पूरी तरह, तो थोड़ा सा इंग्लिश चलेगा, दैट इज करेक्ट, बट डिक्टेशन शैल बी इन इंग्लिश, लार्जर डिस्कशन शैल बी इन इंग्लिश. बीच बीच में हिंदी भी आएगा, बट प्योर हिंदी में आप एक्सपेक्ट मत करिए. यहां पे उसके लिए क्या है, 8 AM. तो अगेन देखो मैं एक ही चीज बार बार रिपीट कर रहा हूं, मुझे अच्छा नहीं लग रहा है, बट मैं क्या करूं, बिकॉज आई सी द कमेंट. तो वन कमेंट इज वेरी कॉमन, हिंदी. तो हिंदी होगी कल 8 बजे. एनीवे, अब आते हैं कि प्रेसिडेंट का इलेक्शन. तो प्रेसिडेंट के इलेक्शन में अभी तक आपने सब जान लिया. देन आफ्टर दैट 3 थिंग्स और 3 वर्ड्स और 3 टर्म्स आर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर प्रेसिडेंट फ्रॉम द पर्सपेक्टिव ऑफ प्रीलिम्स. और प्रीलिम्स में देखोगे तो ये कई बार पूछा गया. तो प्रेसिडेंट के इलेक्शन से संबंधित 3 टर्म जरूर याद है हर एग्जाम में, वेदर यू आर फेसिंग एनी एग्जाम, वनडे में भी ये आएगा. 3 चीजें हैं प्रेसिडेंट के इलेक्शन में. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, इट इज इनडायरेक्ट इलेक्शन. तो अगर आए कि कैसा इलेक्शन है प्रेसिडेंट का, ये इनडायरेक्ट इलेक्शन है. इनडायरेक्ट इलेक्शन का मतलब है कि इसमें आम जनता वोट नहीं डालती, बल्कि इसमें वो वोट डालते हैं जिनको हमने इलेक्ट किया है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, लोकसभा इलेक्शन इज डायरेक्ट इलेक्शन. व्हाई? बिकॉज इन लोकसभा इलेक्शन वी डायरेक्टली वोट, कास्ट आवर वोट, बट इन द प्रेसिडेंशियल इलेक्शन वी डू नॉट कास्ट आवर वोट. We elect MPs and MLAs, and MPs and MLAs cast their vote to elect the president. Therefore, the election of president is इनडायरेक्ट। तो पहला क्या है? इनडायरेक्ट इलेक्शन। देन सेकेंड इज प्रोपोर्शनल रिप्रेजेंटेशन। Proportional representation. Now this is a very contested, एक बहुत ही डिस्प्यूटेड ये कॉन्सेप्ट है विद रेस्पेक्ट टू द प्रोसीजर ऑफ इलेक्शन ऑफ प्रेसिडेंट, बिकॉज अ लार्ज नंबर ऑफ क्रिटिक दे बिलीव that this is not appropriate. This is not appropriate for the election of president of India. Why? That I will come in the concluding part. जब इसको evaluate करेंगे तो एक criticism, तो वहां पर जानेंगे कि what is proportional representation and why proportional representation is technically not applicable. लोग कहते हैं कि technically applicable नहीं है, बट अभी इसको छोड़ देते हैं क्योंकि इससे पूरा ये हो जाएगा। फिर देखो हिंदी की बात आ रही है। वेरी गुड। देखो आदर्श ने सही हैज रिटन दैट दिस इज इंग्लिश मीडियम क्लास। मैं फिर कह रहा हूं दिस इज इंग्लिश मीडियम क्लास। एनीवे डोंट वरी, और चलता है, दिस ऑल दिस हैपेंस। प्रोपोर्शनल रिप्रेजेंटेशन ये सेकंड। अब ये क्या है, इसका डिबेट लास्ट में जाना। लास्ट का मतलब जब इवैल्यूएट करेंगे, मे बी टुडे मे बी टुमारो। एंड थर्ड इज सिंगल transferable vote system. Single transferable vote system. Single transferable vote system. So three terms. Indirect election. Why? Because we do not cast our vote, our representatives cast. Proportional ये बाद में देखें। Single transferable. Now let us see what does this mean. बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग टर्म है। Now here single means one. Transferable, that means which is transferred from one to other. मैंने आपको दिया, आपने उसको दिया, आपने उसको दिया, that is transferable. So what does it mean with respect to the election of the president of India? So here it means every member of electoral college, जो electoral college का member है, MP, MLA, कोई भी, every member of electoral college has the right to cast one vote. That is the meaning of word single. So each member of electoral college has the right to cast one vote. But his vote can be transferred from one person to other. A bit confusing. So let me clear it by putting one example. तब क्लियर होगा कि ट्रांसफरेबल क्या है और सिंगल क्या है। So for example, P is a member of electoral college. P कौन है? MP या MLA जो वोट डाल रहा है। कोई बैच है यूपीएससी, ऑफ कोर्स दिस इज यूपीएससी प्री प्लस मेंस बैच गोइंग ऑन, और उसका डिटेल आप इंक्वायर कर लेंगे, ऑफिस में इंक्वायरी कर लेंगे। हाँ, पी इज ए मेंबर ऑफ इलेक्टोरल कॉलेज, ये कोई एमपी या एमएलए, एंड फॉर एग्जांपल देयर आर 4 कैंडिडेट्स ए बी सी डी, दे आर कॉन्टेस्टिंग द इलेक्शन ऑफ प्रेसिडेंट। नाउ फॉर एग्जांपल पी कास्ट हिज वोट टू बी, पी देता है अपना वोट बी को, बट इट मे हैपन, दो इट इज नॉट कंपल्सरी, बट इट मे हैपन दैट ही हैज कास्टेड हिज वोट टू बी, बट हिज वोट विल बी ट्रांसफर्ड टू डी. That is called single transferable, that you casted only one vote. आपने दोनों को वोट नहीं दिया. You have casted your vote to B, but your vote was transferred to D. And further it may happen, not compulsory, but may happen, that further this vote goes to A from D. Now, how does this magic happens or takes place? That is actually the beauty of single transferable vote system that we are going to discuss. But here only I gave you the definition of what does it mean. So single transferable vote system means every member of electoral college can cast one vote, but his vote can be transferred from one candidate to other. After understanding till here, now we are able, now we can properly understand the single transferable vote system. So first, let us see now actually what is single transferable vote system. So give one heading. The procedure of election of president. Give the heading, the procedure of election of president. The procedure of election of president. और उसी को हाइफन या ऑब्लिक देकर लिखिए, सिंगल ट्रांसफरेबल वोट सिस्टम, द प्रोसीजर ऑफ इलेक्शन ऑफ प्रेसिडेंट, एंड दैट इज कॉल्ड सिंगल ट्रांसफरेबल वोट सिस्टम. Single transferable vote system. Now let us see how does this happen. How does this happen? So first I should explain it. पहले मैं इसको explain करता हूँ, and then I will dictate also, because only understanding is not important. Everything should be in written form also, so that you could write it in the exam. But first let us try to understand what is single transferable vote system and how the vote is transferred. Single transferable vote system. So take one example. For example, election of the president is due. It is to be taken, and electoral college. So for example, there are 1000 members in the electoral college. Now this is not the actual figure. Actual is more than this, because if you see there are 776 तो MP ही हैं, फिर इतने 31 states legislative assemblies MLA. तो but for the sake of mathematics or to make it easy, this is UPSC class. ये UPSC की क्लास चल रही है इंग्लिश मीडियम. 1000 members in the electoral college. कितने टोटल? 1000. 1000 members in the electoral college, and the value of votes is, for example, 10,000. Value of votes is 10,000. Now this is not that there shall be 10 times, but just for the sake of convenience computation, make it easy. So there are 1000 persons who will vote, who are going to vote, MPs and MLAs. Now each of them will cast one vote, but value of one person may be 10, value of the vote of other may be 20, 30, then किसी का 2 हो सकता है, 5 हो सकता है. तो टोटल 1000 लोगों के वोट का वैल्यू कितना हुआ? फॉर एग्जाम्पल 10,000. फॉर एग्जाम्पल 10,000. Now what shall be the electoral quota? 5001. Remember जितना वैल्यू है, that is divided by 2. तो 10,000 divided by 2, 5000, और उसमें 1 ऐड कर दो तो 5000 plus 1. So electoral quota is 5001. Electoral quota is 5001. So here 1000 persons who will cast their vote. Each of them will cast one vote, but the value differs from one another, and a candidate needs to secure 5001 value to win the election of the president. So that is the actual thing. Now let us see, for example, the election starts and A, B, C, D and E, for example, these are A, B, C, D and E, these are the 5 candidates. A, B, C, D, E are the 5 candidates. And how many voters? 1000. So now, for example, the voting starts. And first of all comes voter 1, V1. V1 means out of these 1000, one member. तो V1 कौन है? इलेक्टोरल कॉलेज का मेंबर, मे बी लोकसभा, मे बी राज्यसभा, मे बी स्टेट लेजिस्लेटिव असेंबली। V1 आता है वोट डालने के लिए। एंड नाउ one thing is to be understood very clearly, that V1 shall cast only one vote, and presently also the election of president is conducted through paper ballot. No EVM is used. Now you see, in Lok Sabha, Vidhan Sabha, we have EVM, and in an election like the election of president, there is no EVM, no use of EVM. Why? It is not because of economic constraint. ऐसा नहीं कि पैसा नहीं है, यह EVM नहीं. That is not the thing. Actually, the nature of single transferable vote system is such that it cannot be conducted through EVM. ये EVM से हो ही नहीं सकता है, इसलिए अभी भी इसमें पेपर बैलेट चलता है, कागज वाला। क्यों नहीं हो सकता EVM से, अभी क्लियर हो। तो फॉर एग्जांपल V1 कम्स नाउ, जस्ट बस एक बार केवल मैं जानना चाहता हूं कि यहां तक की चीजें आपको क्लियर है या नहीं। तो जस्ट टेल मी यस और नो, आर द थिंग्स स्टिल हियर क्लियर? यस और नो आपको फटाफट लिख देना है कमेंट में, यस और नो, यस और नो, जस्ट राइट वेदर इट इज क्लियर और नॉट टिल हियर। अभी तक की चीजें क्लियर है या नहीं? जस्ट टेल वेदर इट इज क्लियर और नॉट। अभी तक जो बताया गया, क्योंकि उसके बाद फिर सबसे डिफिकल्ट और सबसे इंटरेस्टिंग हिस्से में हम। यस सर, क्लियर, ओके। और बताओ, फटाफट बताओ, मैं चाह रहा हूं कि लोगों की ये व्यूज पता चले, वेदर इट इज क्लियर और नॉट। ऐप मुझे विजिबल नहीं हो रहा है। टिल हियर इज इट क्लियर और नॉट? अभी तक जो हमने पढ़ा प्रेसिडेंट को लेकर, वो क्लियर है कि नहीं, तब इसमें आगे बढ़े। सो आई होप इट इज क्लियर। यस सर, क्लियर। एनीवे, चलो तो अब तो अगेन यस सर, नाउ धीरे धीरे आ रहा है। यस सर, क्लियर, ओके ओके। यूट्यूब पे थोड़ा लेट में आता है कमेंट। एनीवे, सो टिल हियर इट इज क्लियर। सो आगे भी क्लियर होगा, डोंट वरी, and it shall be clear in mind, not clear from mind. So hope it is clear in mind. तो अब आ जाते हैं कि वोटिंग शुरू हुई। 1000 वोटर हैं, 1000 वही है इलेक्टोरल कॉलेज वाले। तो V1 का मतलब इसमें से कोई पहला आता है, मे बी एन MP, मे बी एन MLA, एंड द रिप्रेजेंटेटिव ऑफ इलेक्शन कमीशन shall give him one paper ballot। अब याद करना, EVM नहीं, V1 को एक पेपर बैलेट दिया, एंड द नेम्स ऑफ ABCD आर प्रिंटेड देयर। सबका नाम लिखा एंड सबके आगे बॉक्स बना। नाउ दिस पर्सन V1 हु इज अ वोटर, दिस पर्सन V1 हु इज अ वोटर is expected to indicate preference or the order of preference among the candidates. Just for example, V1 says that A is the first preference, then E is the second preference, B is third, C is fourth, and D is fifth. So in this way, now you see, just read a paper ballot and वो लिखता है कि A is my first preference, then E is my second, B is third, C is fourth, and D is fifth. Now here one thing is to be understood, that this person V1 has not casted 5 votes. उन्होंने 5 वोट नहीं डाले. He has casted only 1 vote. Yes, in that 1 vote, he has marked order of preference. V1 वोट डाल के चला गया. Then comes V2. Again, out of this 1000 कोई MP MLA हो सकता है. And V2 is also given a paper ballot by the representative of election commission. Now V2 says that for me B is the first preference. ये अलग पार्टी का हो सकता है, तो अपने कैंडिडेट को फर्स्ट करता है. C is second, A is third, D is fourth and E is fifth. तो V2 ने भी वोट डाल दी. Then comes V3. V3 again says that A is the first preference. This is second, this is fourth, this is fifth, this is third. Then V4 comes. कहता है E is the first preference. This is fifth, this is second, this is third, this is fourth. In this way, we 1000. That means 1000 persons cast their vote. अब यह ध्यान रखना है कि each of them have casted only one vote. Of course, in that one ballot paper, they have marked their order of preference, but actually they have casted only one vote. So there are 1000 votes casted. Here the voting is completed. 1000 लोगों ने वोट डाल दिया. Now counting starts. So here begins first round of counting. शुरुआत होती है first round. And in the first round of counting, votes are distributed among these 5 candidates on the basis of first preference. I am again saying that among these 5 candidates, these 1000 votes are distributed and they are distributed on the basis of first preference. So let us see how does this happen. Now V1 has casted his vote. So for example, कि V1 का vote निकला counting में. So here V1 has given first preference to A. V1 has given first preference to A. And therefore, the vote of V1 is given to A. Though there is second, third also, but on the basis of first, it is given to A. Similarly, V2 has given first preference to B. So the vote of V2 is given to B. V3 has again given to A. So vote of V3 is given to A. It goes to A. Then vote of V4 goes to E, because here first preference is E. So in this way, 1000 votes are distributed among the 5 candidates A, B, C, D on the basis of first preference. On the basis of first preference. Now, for example, after this, A gets 400 votes. What does it mean? It means there are 400 votes out of 1000 where first preference is marked to A. There is somebody at the second also, but since first preference is given to A, so there are 400 such paper ballots in which first preference is given to A, and therefore these 400 become the vote of A. Similarly, for example, B gets 100. That means there are 100 ballot papers where first preference is B. There may be second preference, somebody else, third preference, but on the basis of first preference. So this goes to B. Then C gets 175, which means there are 175 ballot papers in which C is the first preference. There may be others at the second, but C is the first. Then, for example, D gets 125 votes. So there are 125 votes or paper ballots where D is mentioned at the first place, and similarly 200 gets. So in this way 1000 votes are distributed among the 5. Now you know that here number of vote is not important. What is important is value of vote, because electoral quota is value. So out of these 400 votes, there may be MP vote also, there may be MLA vote also. So for example, you take the value of each of these 400. तो जस्ट समझो कि इसके पास 400 नोटों का एक बंडल है, उसमें 500 के भी नोट हैं, 200 के भी, 100 के भी है, सिक्किम का एमएलए भी है और यूपी का एमएलए और लोकसभा भी। तो अब आपने उन 400 नोट्स को गिना। सो वैल्यू मे बी मोर देन 5000। फॉर एग्जाम्पल द वैल्यू इज 5200। हो सकता है 500 वाले नोट ज्यादा है, एमपी वाले ज्यादा है। दैट मीन्स इन द फर्स्ट राउंड ऑफ काउंटिंग A shall be declared elected. Why? Because he secured the electoral quota. And in India, all the presidents except V.V. Giri were elected in the first round of counting itself. Only it was during the election of V.V. Giri that second preference votes were counted. So generally first preference हमारे यहाँ हो जाता है, but we have to understand this process till the end. Therefore, we won't say that in the first preference 5001 is secured. So just for example, let us see. I will put 1 0 before each. So for example, value of vote of A is 4000. It is not essentially 10 times, but just मान लो 4000 है, सब में एक जीरो लगा. Here 1000. Here 1750, here 1250, and here 2000. That means nobody secured this 5001. Then what shall happen? Without getting this, election is not complete. In that case, if it is like this, then the candidate who has secured the lowest value, not number, lowest value of vote shall be eliminated from the election process. उसको बाहर कर देगा. And his votes shall be distributed among the rest 4 on the basis of second preference. अभी क्लियर होगा जब मैं एग्जाम्पल दूं. But here first let us find who has got the least value of votes. सबसे कम value of votes किसको मिला है? So of course the least value of votes is secured by here B. B को सबसे कम मिला है and B has secured the least value of votes, that is 100. So now B is eliminated. So for example, there are 5 boxes A, B, C, D, E. तो B का बॉक्स हटा लेता है. Why? B is not in the race. Now we have 100 surplus votes because B is not in the race. And in each of that 100 votes, who is having first preference? Of course it is B, क्योंकि first preference पे ही तो बांटे थे. So B is at number 1 in each of these 100 votes. That is true. Then only it is B's vote. But somebody is at the second also. So now we will consider that second in each vote. Just for example, let us take it like this. Now for example, we take the first vote from the ballot box of this B, because B is eliminated. तो B का पहला वाला वोट निकाला. Who is at the first preference? Of course B. सारे में first preference पे B है, because these are B's vote. But somebody is at the second. Somebody is at the second. So for example, पहले वाले वोट को जब निकाला तो एक नंबर पे तो B ही होना. But at the second place we see the name of A. So this vote will go to A. So now the number of vote becomes 401. Out of that 400 first preference vote and 1 vote is second preference. Similarly, we take the second vote. We have to take 100 votes. तो अब B के बक्से से दूसरा निकालो. Here also, who is at the first place? B. But at the second place, for example, D. So second vote is given to D. तो D का हो गया 126. Then we take the third vote. Here also, first preference is of course B. But B is eliminated. So for example, second preference is A. So again, this is given to A. So A का 402 हो गया. Similarly, fourth, first is of course B and second is C. So now we give C. So in this 100 votes are distributed among A, C, D, E, 4 on the basis of second preference. On the basis of second preference. तो second preference के आधार पर we distributed 4 votes. We distributed 100 votes on the basis of second preference. Now 100 का result ये आता है. Let us see what is the result of this 100. For example, this A gets 60 votes out of this 100. That means 60 votes were such where first preference was B, but second preference was A. Therefore, these 60 are given to A. Now A के votes कितने हो जाते हैं? 460. Out of 460, 400 are first preference and 60 votes are second preference. ये तो है ही नहीं, आउट है. Now for example कि इसको मिल जाते हैं C को 15 वोट्स, तो C के हो गए 190. 60 इसे मिले और 15 इसे मिले, तो 190 हो गए. और इसे मिल जाते हैं 5, तो इसके हो गए 130. 80 and remaining 20 goes to this, तो इसके वोट हो गए 220. Now what is the new figure? This 100 votes are distributed among these 4 on the basis of second preference. So 60 second preference vote of B went to A. तो 60 वोट्स ऐसे थे जिसमें एक नंबर पे B था लेकिन 2 नंबर पे A था, तो वो 60 A को गए. Then 15 second preference vote of B are given to C. इसका मतलब 15 ऐसे वोट थे जिसमें एक नंबर पे B था, 2 नंबर पे C था. In this way, 5 to this and this. Now election commission will now take the value of these 460. Value of these 460. पहले 400 के लिए 460. So if it is 5,000 or more, if it is 5,000 or more, then A is declared elected in the second round. अब वो second round में elect. But again, we have to know the process till end. So for example, अभी भी नहीं. And फिर से मैं अगर कर दूं कि इसके वोट्स हो गए 46, एक एक जीरो लगा देता हूं, ये तो है ही नहीं. इसके वोट हो गए 1900, इसके 1300 और इसके 2200. So nobody secured the electoral quota. So again the same process shall be repeated. Same process shall be repeated means now among these 4 A, C, D, E, the candidate who secures least value of votes shall be eliminated. So here it is D who is eliminated because D has secured the least number of votes, least value of votes in चारों. Now we eliminate D and now we have 130 surplus votes. We have 130 surplus votes. किसके? D के, क्योंकि D का बक्सा हटा लिया. Out of that 125 are first preference vote जिसमें एक नंबर पे D है and 5 votes are second preference जिसमें एक नंबर पे B है और 2 नंबर पे D है. So these 125 votes are distributed among A, C and E on the basis of second preference ऐसे. And these 5 votes are distributed among these on the basis of third preference, क्योंकि इसमें एक नंबर पे तो B था तो वो तो गायब है, 2 नंबर पे D था वो भी गायब है, तो 3 नंबर पे ये 5 थर्ड प्रेफरेंस. In this way again the number will increase. and this process will go on till a candidate, this process will go on till there are two candidates. तो घटता है, लास्ट में दो बचेंगे, and then it is assumed that somebody will secure the electoral quota. तो किसी न किसी को तो electoral quota मिल जाएगा, and that person shall be declared elected. So this is how the election of the President of India takes place. How it is, what is single transferable vote system. Now let us see कि why we call that it is single transferable vote system. Single transferable क्यों कहते हैं? अब just take the example of this कि ये जो वोट है ये B को था, but it went to A. This vote was given to B, it went to D. So isn't it single transferable? ये इसका वोट इसको चला जाता है. So that is called single transferable vote system. So in this way the president is elected. Now we discussed this process. I will take those doubts also कि if there is 50-50 value, then what will happen. But first let me know, did you understand this? Yes or no? ये समझ में आया कि नहीं, तब बताओ मुझे प्रोसेस. Did you understand this? Yes or no? यहां तक की चीज समझ में आई या नहीं कि हाउ डज दिस इलेक्शन प्रोसेस इज कंडक्टेड? जस्ट टेल मी yes or no. सो आई एम वेटिंग फॉर रिस्पॉन्स. 10 सेकेंड आ जाते हैं रिस्पॉन्स आने में, सो डोंट वरी. दिस इज यूपीएससी क्लास, ये यूपीएससी वाली क्लास चल रही है. तो जस्ट टेल मी yes or no, डिड यू गेट दिस और नॉट? यस सर, वेरी गुड. सो फर्स्ट कमेंट. और भी जल्दी जल्दी लिखिए ताकि मैं श्योर हो जाऊं. Yes, sir. Clear. Very good. So clear in mind or clear from mind? So I was just joking. I think it is clear in mind. So this is how the President of India is elected. Now there are some. Yes, sir. Now of course देखो अब धीरे धीरे इस पे YouTube में आने में टाइम लगता है. But of course yes sir, yes sir, yes sir. First time. ये भी कहेंगे first time समझ में आ गया. Anyway समझ में आ गया. That is more important. Now there are two issues related to this. First of all, is this marking preference is compulsory? आपने देखा कि इसने किया 1 3 4 5 2. Yes, yes. Now there are comments. Yes. So is this order of, is it compulsory for a voter, member of electoral college, to mark the preference? No, it is not compulsory. So first thing is, if a large number of members of electoral college only put one first preference and they do not mark 2, 3, 4, then what shall happen? Then the vote will be valid. Of course, then this is a criticism. Then the whole process will be subject to a deadlock. 90% लोगों ने one देके छोड़ दिया. Then how you will transfer? So our constitution is silent on this. This is UPSC IAS PCS class. तो उसकी क्लास चल रही. Then तो वहां पे डेडलॉक है, वो एक क्रिटिसिज्म. सेकेंडली, इफ देयर इज 50-50, फॉर एग्जांपल यू से दो कैंडिडेट लास्ट में बचे और दोनों का वैल्यू मान लो 6 लाख हो गया, टोटल 12 लाख है, तो कौन बनेगा? क्योंकि वन ज्यादा होना चाहिए. सो देयर अगेन देयर विल बी डेडलॉक. कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन इज साइलेंट, कोई उसका आंसर नहीं. बट वी विल से रिस्पॉन्डिंग टू दोज क्रिटिक्स दैट these criticisms are only theoretical, only legal. Practically, that shall never happen. And practically, they give preference. And 7 decades have gone after the constitution came into force, and never such criticism came into actual practice. So this is only a thought, will not come into practice. Why? Because the persons who are voting, they are our representatives, they are MP and MLA, and they have benefit in marking the preference कि ये नहीं तो ये नहीं तो ये. So therefore they will mark their preference, and they mark actually their preference. Still legally somebody may say फिर भी अगर ना हो, so then that is hypothetical thing, but generally it has not happened. So that is only a lawyer's criticism which never will come into action. Then second, again this 50-50. So this is also only hypothetical. Technically it may happen, but you see in a country like India, and it is impossible to believe that all the MPs and MLAs shall be in two groups 50-50. So that never happened, and that shall never happen. So all these critiques are only hypothetical, only legal, and there is no practical value of this criticism. And therefore we will say that this is a very good process and we should go by this. So this is the process of election of the President of India. और फिर को ये कौन सा क्लास है? This is for IAS and PCS का बैच. So today we discussed the procedure of election of the president. Now there are certain issues again involved from this procedure, but that we will discuss tomorrow. So now technically this class ends, and now if somebody wants to ask anything or wants to make any comment, so I am ready because the class is over and I am ready to go by the English में history बता रहे हैं. नहीं नहीं, English में history नहीं है, this is constitution. हिस्ट्री में हिंदी में भी चलती है, बट हिंदी में 10 o'clock है. तो any doubt or anything, so I will wait for 1 minute. If anything, any comment you want to make, so I am ready to listen to that. कोई भी चीजें लिखो. Good morning, very good morning Ansh, and I can see Aman, Sri Ram, Pratap, Ranjan, Khushi, Sanaya, Prem Pratap, Nitish, Ranjan. So good morning to all of you. This is IAS PCS class. ये उसकी class चल रही. Which number of class that is? This is second class only. First class was a general introduction. This is second class. So anything else would you like to ask, or any comment would you like to make? If not, then I will end this class session. अच्छा, कंचन केसरी, हम अंश केसरी ऐड है एनीवे. सो कंचन, गुड मॉर्निंग टू यू ऑल्सो. Then it is Shanaya, thank you, of course, thanks a lot to you too. Good afternoon, of course, Satyendra, good afternoon to you. Prem Pratap, how many number of class done? This is second. So including this, 2 classes are done. Thank you, of course. Thanks to everybody. So anyway, I think now I should stop streaming of this class. अब इसको स्टॉप करते हैं क्लासेस का. I will discuss tomorrow next part of this. So let us stop today. Okay. So stay healthy, stay happy. Thank you. Jai Hind. I am stopping the